Hey gang, Carl White here, and you are listening to Loan Officer Freedom numero uno in the world today for loan officers for podcast. And because there's just not that many. All right. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So I've got again episode number 2 with Mortgage Mark himself, Mark Pfeiffer out was it Albuquerque? No, it wasn't Albuquerque. What's that town? The Big D, Dallas, Texas. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I kid. Albuquerque is one of my favorite cities, though. I freaking love Albuquerque, but love Dallas too. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is your 555 program. Really good stuff. Looking forward to hear about it. But as soon as we hit the record button, or right before we did, I mentioned, I was just talking just briefly that I've only had one cease and desist letter. So as a loan officer, I got a cease and desist letter, and you would never, ever guess who from.
Oh
Don't
man.
even, you would never guess. So
Okay.
I'll just tell you,
Zig
because
Ziglar.
you would never guess. No, I would be honored to get a cease and desist from Zig Ziglar. That would make my day. I met him, by the way. I won a marketing contest, and my prize was I got to hang out with him for a morning. Uh, I love that man. He was a great man. He was a great. So I met him. It was on his 80th birthday too. So I was part of his 80th birthday party, and he was still very sharp at that time. But great man. Anyway, so my cease and desist was from Betty Crocker.
No. No.
Betty Crocker sent me a cease and desist. I was sending cookies to real estate agents, and I must have used a phrase in there or something that they use. I have no idea. Dude, I felt like I was having Oprah reaching out to me when Betty Crocker said, "Hey, man, you're getting a little too close to us." It was like, Betty Crocker knows my name, right?
Wow. That's incredible.
I should have saved the letter. I look back years later. I thought, man, I should have saved that letter. But
That's when you
true
know you
story.
made it. Wait, look,
True
I
story.
tell my team. So Carl, I got turned in once. So we sent every lead we do. So if you send me a lead right now, something goes out that month, little thank you card. So for whatever month we're talking about, it is a scratch off ticket, a $1 scratch off ticket,
Okay.
right? So $1 scratch off ticket. Hey, thanks for referral. Here you go. And it was to a builder, somebody that works for a builder, and the wife, who at the time I had never met, was in real estate. She was a realtor. So she put on Facebook or some social medium or something saying, "Love Mortgage Mark, lotto ticket for every referral," or something like that. So no big deal. Didn't think it. And all of a sudden I get, the state of Texas is reaching out to me saying, "We got a problem here." And I was like, "What?" So I'm paying, air quotes, paying for referrals. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So
Oh
I go to
yeah.
the team, and of course I'm lamenting, and somebody goes, "Congratulations, boss." And I was like, "What? Why?" They go, "You're big enough to where somebody hates you, and that's good. You're reaching a lot of people." Because somebody turned me in for $1. And again, we did it for every single lead. So I had to document our process,
Yeah.
hey, look, it's not just for this one thing. And it's, but it is apparently $1 scratch off is an item of value according to RESPA. So there you go.
Yeah. So and there
But
you
again,
go.
you get big enough, you're going to make somebody mad. So that's the
Yeah.
good news.
Yeah.
And I'm not
So
saying I'm Betty Crocker big. I'm just
yeah.
local market.
Well,
Somebody turned me in big.
well, I have to say I'm not state of Texas big. So
Well,
anyway.
fair enough.
All
So
right.
Betty Crocker must live in Florida. We'll just assume that.
So 555 program. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just for the lead in, you said it was my program, and that's what's funny is the story behind this thing is, I have a team, and this after COVID, when refinances were rampant, I kind of we were at our quarterly group meeting. I said, guys, why are we not getting more referrals? Like, why are we not getting more refis from your personal friends and family? Right? It's all my clients, my this, my this, my this. It's an us. It's a team thing. Why are we not getting more from you guys? How do we fix that? And the reason why I say it's their idea is because for years, Carl, I was trying to get them to do things. I was like, hey, call your people, tell this. Well, they came up with the idea, which I'd mentioned 2 or 3 times before, and I've tried implementing with, like, it fell flat. But because it was their idea, like, well, why don't we call our friends and our families? Like, I don't know, maybe we have a rotation. We make a list and we call them. And I was like, guys, that's brilliant. How often are we going to call them? Like, maybe we just every Friday or something like that. And I said, good idea. How many are you going to call? And they're like, we'll call 20. I was like, guys, let's not go run a marathon if we're not even working out. I was like, why don't we just start small? Why don't we call like 5 of our people, 5 of your friends? Just remind them you're in the mortgage business. You're not a loan officer, but you're on a team. You're in the
Mm.
mortgage business. Ask them how their life's going. How's their work going? They will in turn ask you. And they're like, neat, great idea, boss. So they did that. Right. And then there's a whole process of just the scripting, but I just want them to remind people they're in the business. So that was the first 5. So come back a month later, how's it going? Man, it's going great. And everybody became accountable to each other. Like we all, hey, we have our daily meetings, and the rule was by Friday you had to call those people. And this is their grandma, their brother, their sister. They like these. There's no call
So
reluctance.
5 different people each
5
Friday.
different people each week, right? So I just said make 20. And we'll just rotate. We'll do it monthly,
Like
right?
that?
Call the same people. You should call your grandma once a month anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
So right. So it's like so they did that, and I was like, guys, how's this going? Everybody's like, oh, we love it. We got a few referrals, a few refis, like nothing, 1 or 2 here or there. And I go, cool. What else? Anything else we should do? Like, should we do this for business? And I know the answer is yes, but if it's not their idea, and they're like, yeah, let's do it for business. So then I said, pick 5 realtors, 5 business partners, somebody you work with, right? So as a team, there can be some overlap. Like it depends on, sometimes some realtors want to send it to one person because of the personality, but there are exclusive pieces too on the team. So they said, yeah, we'll in addition to calling grandma, we'll also call 5 of the people we just love business from, whether we're doing loans with them or not, and just say, hey, we love you, miss you, was thinking of you, right? Because then it's not just me, right? It becomes more the team. And then after that, how'd that go? Because that one I was more in tune with. Like every week I started asking, how'd that go? How'd that go? How'd that go? What do we do? Who do we call? Make sure there's no overlap.
And now this is everybody on your team. Like, would this be the
Processor included.
processor, the loan
Processor included.
partners,
Marketing team,
the guy sitting at the front of the desk, the receptionist kind of thing? Like,
correct.
this is everybody.
Yeah, at the time, because again, this is COVID, we had a significantly bigger team. So it's a lot of people when you figure the math, right?
Yeah.
5 times 10 is 50 people that I'm not touching, that not even in my network.
Mm.
So it was, their 5 of their personal, their 5 the realtors. And then the last 5 was just, hey guys, how's it going? How do we make that extra impact? And it was a thank you card. So after they talked to somebody, they just wrote down the thank you card. Hey, hey Carl, great chat today. Just want to say, miss seeing business from you. I'd love to do it again, or whatever it is, or sorry about to hear about your cat, or whatever. Right. So it just became those are the 3 ideas. If we had another one, maybe it'd be the 5 at 4x, right? Or whatever it is. But the reality is just the 5, 5, 5. And because it was their idea, which it's hard I just was like, guys, we talked about this many years. I've tried it many times and it all fell flat. But when they came up with it, man, they owned it, and it's awesome.
All right. So let me see if I got this. By the way, the 5 thank you cards are the most underrated, most powerful thing. And I believe in our business today. I remember listening to an interview, and this is not a political affiliation, but I was listening to an interview of actually a fellow Texan, George Bush Sr., right? Daddy, right? And they were interviewing him back when he was vice president, right? So when he was vice president of Ron, right? President Reagan. And they asked him, how did you become vice president? Not knowing that he was going to become president, but at the time, vice president. What would you attribute, like, how you become vice president? Like, what was your biggest attribute? What was your biggest boost? What was your biggest thing? And I was listening to this interview. It was an old recording, and you kind of had to listen to it real closely. It almost sounded like it wasn't an authorized recording, but whatever. But I remember through the crackle and the scratch, he said something that blew me away. When they asked him, how did you become vice president? Without hesitation, he said, I write 15, not 5, not 10, but 15. I write 15 personal handwritten notes per day. And that, he didn't use the word move the needle, but I can't remember exactly what he said, but that moved the needle more than anything else. That the cat that was in the vice president seat of the United States of America said that writing handwritten notes was the most powerful thing in his political career.
I've heard the similar story. I think he was a Yale grad, right? I think he was
that's Yale. Right. That's right.
But I think same thing, which his Christmas cards, he did handwritten, and he sent out like 2,000 or some obnoxious number that you wouldn't expect any single person to do, much less him. But literally, after knowing the connections he made at Yale, he made sure that every year they were getting handwritten notes from him and Christmas cards. So whether you may be more correct than me, but I've heard a similar story, which was, again, keeping those relationships on a personal level, writing that, not just the Christmas card, you sign it, but like actually writing a note, I guess. And it's obnoxious. I mean, the guy must have spent all December doing it. But yeah, I've heard the same story, and heard a similar story for somebody who's a CEO of a Fortune 100 company, said the same thing.
Yeah.
And so my young, I have some young teammates. on the team. They're in the early to mid 20s. I'm stressing them like, hey guys, like you don't understand. Like, and then to their credit, Carl, if I even just buy them a Starbucks or something, I get a thank you card. I don't care if they're placating the boss. The reality is they're at least getting those habits down. Or I'm like, you have to write those thank you cards because it's just, again, it takes all of what, 3 minutes, call it 5 if you want to round up to look up somebody's address and buy the stamp and all that.
And I think they're more powerful than ever because now most people by far don't use mail. They're using email or e-cards or that kind of thing. On our birthday, we get, 50,000. That's not true. It's 5,000, but, we get thousands or hundreds or dozens, whatever the case may be, I guess, of people wishing you a digital happy birthday on Facebook. It's like, yeah, right. But you get a handful of cards in the mail and they stand out because so few people did them. All right, so let me make sure I got this right now. So everybody on your team, they in one sitting, they do 5 calls to friends and family, letting them know, hey, how are you doing? Oh, by the way, I'm in the mortgage business.
And that's important because it's not my people. It's not my family. They're not in our database. They're not
Right,
getting
right.
mailers. This is
This is
them
their
making
family.
sure they're reminding their family what they do for a living, right? They're not
Yeah,
necessarily being the creepy ass for business, but they remind them so that they're in the mortgage business. And I think
yeah,
that's huge.
yeah. And you know what? Let me tell you something. If I got a family member that reaches out to me with oh, by the way, I own a car repair shop. Well, of course I would use
True.
cousin Bob, or in my case, I don't want to pick my favorite cousin because I want, but if my cousin Sam or my cousin Linda was to reach out to me and say, "Hey, I've got a laundromat or I've got a car," well, of course I would use them. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be weird. That wouldn't be weird at all, right? All right. So 5 calls to their friends and family, which gives you a bigger reach than what you already had. They call 5 business partners, realtors, attorneys, title companies.
That takes a little structuring to make sure they're not all calling the same person on the same day. So that's got to be more of a cohesive, but yes,
Got
you're
it.
correct.
Got it. And then 5 thank you notes. 2, make sure I got this right. The 5 thank you notes goes to some of these 2 other sets of calls that they did. So it's
And I
not,
don't, it can be past client. Like if you just close one that
I
week,
get it.
right one, I mean, I don't care. I just need 5
I get it.
envelopes. And so we just show them on the screen. You hold them up on Zoom, say, here's my 5 addressed and ready to go out today.
Perfect. All right. So my question is, this is done every Friday.
Every Friday.
And is it done at a certain time? Like, hey team, it's 555 time.
We by the Zoom, so we do 11:30 daily meetings. I know some folks like the mornings, but just with kid drop-offs and all that other stuff, and that's my call time anyway. So everybody has to eat lunch. So at 11:30, we do the team meeting. So by 11:30, hold up that and just give a thumbs up if you did or didn't do it. No, immediately there's, hey, I'll get to it this afternoon. Something came up this morning. Okay, fine. But for the
But as a
most
general
part,
rule, it's a Friday
done by the
morning
meeting,
thing
done
that
by
they
the lunch
do.
meeting.
Man, I really like that, man. Tell me about just briefly here. I see we're close to the top of the hour. Tell me briefly, what about the processor, the loan partner, the receptionist said, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable doing that, Mark." What about those?
Again, those can be hard. The processor is easy, in my opinion. The way our business works is our processor does communicate with the referral partner, say, here's where we are, clear to close, whatever it is. That is, so I understand if you get somebody that's on the back end that doesn't have any interaction, has no idea who these people are. I can look, maybe I should or shouldn't say, but I could do a 5-5 program. Call 5 of your favorite people, but send thank you cards saying I worked on your file and really, really love to see another one from you, right? Because I understand there's personalities. Not everybody wants to be on the phone. So I would be okay if an ops person says, hey, I don't know who Susie Q Realtor is. If that's your process, a thank you card still go a long way saying, hey, because of you, I was able to buy little Johnny some shoes this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. I think just showing that it's a team piece. So I don't want to put somebody in a position where they dread that Friday, where
Yeah.
they can still make 5 phone calls to grandma and their family and friends, and they can still write a handwritten thank you card. Maybe they do 10 thank you cards.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I'll make their 5 phone calls for them. I'll do
Yeah.
10 phone
Because
calls and they write
I
10.
tell you, the first thing that crossed my mind, I'd have to think about this. The first thing that crossed my mind would be, hey, Carl, I don't feel comfortable making these calls. Well, hey, Bob, I don't feel comfortable writing your check if you're
Yeah,
not
I
helping.
agree. I agree.
If you're not helping making sure that we stay in business next month and we're all out of business, I don't feel comfortable writing you a check. And if you're not proud of where you work and think we do awesome stuff and would refer us to your friends, then maybe you ought to go somewhere where you do feel proud of yourself and comfortable, and take a little bit more of an outward approach to it, and not being snotty, but just like matter of fact that, hey, if we don't do this in this time, and the goose dies, there's no more eggs. And if there's no more eggs, everybody's out of a job. So
Yep.
yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who you're talking to. Because I've had some that, the office people where there's anxiety, there's things there that I don't even want to cross that bridge, right? So
Yeah, I get it.
I've
I get
had
it.
that I've had that in the past, and I don't want to put them in that position. They're good
I get
people,
it.
they're
I
good
get it.
workers.
I get it. I guess you'd have to individual. It just had to be a real special case,
Yeah,
you know.
I would say, what do you want to trade for it, right? Let's barter. You don't want to make the 5 phone calls. What are you
Ooh,
going to do? You want to write 15 notes and let us, I'll make the phone calls. I'd much rather make a phone call than a thank you card. So if
yeah,
I can say,
yeah.
you write my 5 cards, so you're doing 10, I'll do your 5 calls. I'm fine with that.
I like
So
that.
the work needs to be good. I mean, at the end of the day, all this is just reminding folks that we are in the business of sales. You've
Yeah,
said it before, right? We are marketing people. We are salespeople first that happen to be in the mortgage business. So just to remind the ops team that this isn't just a paycheck that shows up every time just because. Things have to happen. Activity has to be done for that paycheck to be available.
good stuff. Mortgage Mark Pfeiffer with CMG out of Dallas, Texas. Brother, I love you, man. You're just an awesome guy. I love the fresh perspectives. You're a fantastic branch manager. You're a great loan officer, and you're a dear, dear friend. I appreciate you, my man. Thanks for.
Thank
Oh,
you,
oh,
buddy. I appreciate
wait,
the
wait,
kind
wait,
words.
wait, 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 wait. Before we start the love fest here, 30 seconds. What's my action item this week?
Talk if you're a solo practitioner, start doing the 5-5-5 of your own on Friday. If you got a team, absolutely implement this next week and baby steps, right? Try to make it their idea. If you come in saying we're doing this, I've not found that to be successful when they come up. So in some form or fashion, try to put it in front of them and phrase it, but start that program. And again, the phone calls to their own personal family members is the easiest. So
Good stuff,
have your
man.
people just say, here, give me 20 people who you love and appreciate that you need to talk to on a more regular basis. If they talk to their mom every day, don't let that be one of the 5.
Good stuff. Man, love it. Mortgage Mark, appreciate you, my man. You're an awesome dude. Hey, for our listeners listening in today, if you want to get a map out of who does what on a team, like you're saying, hey, I've got this team, but who does what? If you want kind of an inside view, behind the curtains view of how it works in my branch, we'd love to show you that so you can duplicate that over in your branch. Just go to freedomclubdemo.com, freedomclubdemo.com. Get a peek behind the curtain. Doesn't cost you a dime. I'll talk to you on the other side. Mark, see you on the next episode, my man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.